Right, let's rock and roll. There we go. All right, we are rocking and rolling. Thanks so much. Okay, I'm trying to close this little box that says we're recording. There we go. City of Hope. So let me tell you just a little bit about the organization before we start on the impact piece. So, City of Hope is an organization that is more than 100 years old. We actually started in 1913. And so our early beginnings were based on a group of, about 10 volunteers who were very concerned about the fact that tuberculosis was a major disease in LA County. People were dying from the disease. And so these citizens, these folks came together, they raised, a few $1,000s to purchase some land in Duarte, which is the original land the City of Hope still sits on today. And so, fast forward, obviously, we don't hear people getting tuberculosis today like we did years ago when people were dying from it. And so our leaders, about the 1940-ish timeframe, our leaders begin to think about, okay, so what is it that we need to focus on next? Where can we have the greatest impact? And so it was determined that our next key focus areas would be cancer, and then diabetes, HIV/AIDS, and other debilitating diseases. So when you look at this slide, what you are seeing here are pictures of these two canvas cottages that were set up in the desert where we were treating people, right? So we have gone from, an organization that was initially created to, oops, I'm getting kind of something that's popping up here. So I want to try to close that. You think of the fact that we moved from these two tents in the desert on a few acres of land to today, we are actually at the same location, but we now are 110 acres, okay? So we are huge. We are research institute and hospital. We have, we are serving, we have 7,000 plus employees, and we're on 37 locations all over the Southern California area. So I know this map that's in front of you. I don't want you to feel like you got to scoot real close to the map. We can actually get that out to you. But this is just to give you an idea of the fact that we are all over Southern California. So more than likely, any of your family members, your colleagues, that you can be treated at City of Hope. We've got a location that is near you. And remember, we are Research Institute and hospital, right? So let's talk a little bit about that impact. If you've ever been to our campus, there's a gate on our campuses near the Rose Garden that says, "There is no profit in curing the body if in the process we destroy the soul." That was from Samuel Goulter. He was one of our early leaders. And that motto, that compassion that we talk about, that we leverage, is still very much a part of our DNA today. So our mission to transform the future of healthcare, we're turning science into a practical benefit, hope into reality, and we accomplish this by providing outstanding care, conducting innovative research, and offering vital education programs focused on eliminating these diseases. And compassion is at the heart of everything we do, whether it's how we are interacting and treating our patients, to even how we are interacting in our day-to-day approach with each other. There are a couple of key distinctions that I also want to highlight today, just in talking a little bit about who we are and what we do. If you have anyone who is needing to be treated for cancer, you want to make sure that they are being treated at an NCI designated institute. This is one of the highest designations that a hospital can receive, and City of Hope has that designation. We are one of only 51 comprehensive cancer centers in the United States. We have also been ranked by US News and World Report as one of the best cancer hospitals for cancer care. I talked about the fact that we are Research Institute and hospital. So what that means is that we are able to create drugs on our campus, right? We can create those drugs. We have manufacturing facilities on our campus, and we are able to expedite approval of those so that those can come be available on the market in order to treat our patients. And so when we're developing these drugs and therapies and things like that, guess what, my friends? This is not something that we are keeping right here in Southern California. If we had to estimate what our actual impact is in a sense of who we're touching on a day-to-day basis, we are touching millions of lives every single day. I mean, we've got cancer drugs that are on the market today that likely someone that you know has actually taken these drugs. Some of the key ones that are used, if you could go back, Raquel, some of the key cancer drugs that are on the market today, Erbitux, Rituxan, Avastin. And then the other key point that I want to hit on is the fact that City of Hope is a leader when it comes to diabetes. We are, if you happen to know anyone who is a diabetic, it was as a result of the research and technology of City of Hope that Humulin was created. So when you think of any diabetic who is likely taking Humulin, City of Hope is responsible for treating that. My last point before I move on is the fact that I want to share that the fact that all of us have been impacted by COVID-19, right? Well, as you can imagine, any of our patients who are undergoing cancer or anyone who's immune compromised because of cancer, they are needing something different, special in the sense of a COVID-19 vaccine. Because of our work and our ability to bring drugs to the market quickly, City of Hope now has a COVID-19 vaccine that is in phase 2 clinical trial stage. So this is absolutely amazing. Millions of people touched every single day. And now I want to switch gears just a little bit and share some very sobering figures with you. So again, this is one of those graphics that I know that, you're going to get up real close to the screen to try to see this, but let me kind of share the highlights here. So this is from the American Cancer Society, and ACS estimates that this year, in 2021, there would be more than 1.8 million new cases of cancer. Also estimating that in the state of California, that we will see more than 187,000 new cases of cancer and 61,860 deaths. So this is very sobering, and I want you to think about that. If we have time, and if you can put it in a chat, if you know, think about what do you think the #1 cancer is for men, and what is the #2 cancer for #2 cancer for men? The #1 cancer for men, and I'll just go ahead and put that out there. The #1 cancer for men that's contracted by men is lung cancer. Followed in second place, followed by prostate cancer. The #1 cancer for women, #1 cancer for women is lung cancer as well, followed by #2 of breast cancer. So in 2020, we are estimating that for Los Angeles County, that there were more than 76,000 people who were treated at City of Hope. And if you know anyone who has been treated for cancer, you're not coming in for just one appointment, right? There are multiple appointments here. So when you combine those multiple appointments, we're talking about more than 1.1 million patients that we see in LA County. For the city of Los Angeles, there were more than 3,100 patients who were seen at City of Hope. And again, similar to the figure that I shared with regarding LA County, those number of patient visits, that multiplies based on the number of times that a patient is seen. And those LA County residents, there were more than 7,000 patient visits. Next slide. So we talked about those high numbers of what we saw that the American Cancer Society has predicted as to what we expect to see, not only across the country, but here in the state of California. So something that I have to highlight today, and I hope that you take this very seriously and that you also share this with your loved ones, your families, your friends, and those of us who are not able to join today. So although those numbers are very staggering, we know that the 5-year relative survival rate for all cancers combined has actually been increasing steadily since the 1960s. Why? Because of early detections and screenings. So it's very important to recognize that screenings and early detection save lives. If you know of anyone who has yet to get that important well woman's exam, mammogram, prostate cancer, PSA test, please remind them to make sure that they get those tests done, because the American Cancer Society is predicting that we're going to see an increase in cancer cases because of COVID-19, because people have delayed going to their doctors, getting those annual screenings, and screenings save lives. Next slide, thank you. All right, and one of my favorite things that I want to highlight, and I know that I'm hoping you all are as excited about this piece as I am, but in addition to being a leading cancer research institute and hospital, I want you to know that there are some incredible things that City of Hope is doing in the community and that we're doing to give back in the community. So no surprise, we do complimentary screenings. Those are for PSA blood tests for our men. Those are for mammograms for our women. We also conduct educational classes, many of which, of course, have gone virtual because of the pandemic. And just over the past 3 years, my friends have told me on the community benefit side that we participated in more than 480 events that touched more than 35,000 people, and this is across LA County. In addition, we also, as you can imagine, we also serve underserved patients. And in 2020, there were 700 patients who received fresh produce, which equated to 8,000 pounds of food that was distributed. We also conduct Saturday science programs. These are programs that also have gone virtual that touch our middle school, our elementary through middle school age children, because we have a vested interest in wanting to make sure that we are fueling that STEM pipeline. We want to make sure that we are creating and driving the population of future researchers and doctors, right? Who will be able to help us as we continue to fight cancer and diabetes. So those classes are held one Saturday out of every month. And just last year, I mean, our total number of children who were served were more than 1,200. Just this past summer, again, highlighting what we do in giving back with underserved patients. We also have a backpack program that any of our pediatric patients or any of our families who have children, we collected, all the school supplies and tablets and pens and paper and things like that. And we distributed more than 260 backpacks. Another key program that I'd like to highlight is our pediatric advocacy program. This program is so important because when you think of our children who are undergoing cancer and undergoing treatment, they are missing out on school. And so this program, and this is something that is covered free by City of Hope, we have educators, we have social workers who are on site, who are making sure that those children are able to keep up with their studies. Just last year, we touched about 5,000, close to 5,000 patients. The cost of that program, and again, this is something that is free that we give back to our patients who are being treated here, is valued at $50,000. That's incredible. And then lastly, another one of our favorite things that I'd like to highlight, no surprise, we do, again, complementing the health education piece that we do, our executive chef, as well as our health education team, they monthly conduct a virtual cooking class. And during that class, they promote cancer prevention, healthy recipes, early detection. And just last year, I understand that more than 500 persons participated in those classes. Next slide. And then lastly, I want to make sure that, we thank all of you, because all of you are our heroes. All of us here, all of us have done things within the past year that as a result of COVID-19, we have kind of stepped outside the boundary lines of what our existing jobs are. And so, and we as well, City of Hope has remained focused on what we do best, and that is curing cancer and diabetes. Cancer doesn't stop. So we have a saying here that cancer doesn't stop, and neither will we. So I want to make sure that we show our gratitude to each of you. And we want to thank all of our heroes who over the last year and a half have been, amazing in supporting the work that we do. Every single one of the charities that are a part of this campaign, as you've heard, have done incredible work in a sense of supporting, the Los Angeles community. And so at this point, I want to turn it over to my colleague, Christy, and then we'll get a chance to hopefully address some of those questions that you all have. Thank you, Raquel, for running the slideshow.
Christy, you're on mute, but I want to take this opportunity to remind people that this session and the session last week will be posted, recordings will be posted on the Give to LA website. I put the link in there at a later date, so thank you. Christy, you're up.
Yeah, thank you. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much. We have just a little bit of time left, and I appreciate you coming and listening in. And if you're listening to the recording, we will wrap up in just a few minutes. So I'm Christy Scull. I'm with CHC. We are now creating healthier communities. We were formerly community health charities because we were founded by our health charity partners, City of Hope being one of them. Elise, that was an amazing presentation, by the way. Thank you for that. A lot of great information. So what we've done at CHC is we take multiple charity partners, much like City of Hope and St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and American Diabetes, American Cancer, and we put all of their resources into one organization, and we partner with the City of Los Angeles to provide the opportunity for employees to give or to receive services from them. So I'm excited to talk to you today because you may have been already donating to these charities, and you may think about nonprofits or charities as, I wonder what your opinions are about it. I always, before my work here, always thought, oh, those are for the underserved or for the homeless or for people who are really needy. Not necessarily. We can all utilize these services. And so today I'm going to be talking about, and I have a lot of great links to health resources. So this is what CHC is all about. We're about connecting our nonprofit partners to corporations and the employees within those organizations. So I'm going to go ahead and you can see some of our logos here, some of the nonprofit partners that we represent. These are just a handful of them. We have hundreds of charities under our list. So when you give to CHC, you're supporting all of these nonprofits. I'm going to go ahead and share a quick video real quick, one that I think we can all relate to.
When the world we knew changed, we were tested beyond what we could have imagined. We learned to live behind glass, through masks, without human touch. And through grief and gratitude, we emerged. While the past year made our job at CHC more challenging than ever, it was a reminder of what truly bonds us against all odds. The belief that putting families and communities first helps us find strength in unexpected places. That when community heroes like caregivers and volunteers put their time and skills to work, anything is possible. We work around the clock, so everyone has the opportunity to be healthy. We continue to fight for justice, so tomorrow is better than yesterday. And we give because beyond our four walls, there are neighbors who need our support.
Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide. There we go. So I have a couple of slides here with different types of topics. So Elise touched on prevention. You are so right, Elise. I am due for my very first mammogram and I've been putting it off. So thank you for that reminder. Screening is very important. So all of these links here that I've created in this, I'm going to create a PDF for this for you afterwards if you want to go ahead and click around on them. But each of these prevention tips are linked to, that should bring you up to their websites directly, where you can go ahead and take, this one is for diabetes. You can take a diabetes risk test. So I've put together this handy PowerPoint that will be PDF'd for you to be able to click on in your own time after this meeting. So there's great information here about prevention, burn prevention, warning signs of lung disease, from the American Lung Association, lots of great prevention information here. Next is mental health. I think we all need a little support in this, no matter which way it is, and whether it's pandemic related or not. There's so many great resources. So the great thing about these nonprofits is they're providing so many great services, much like Elise just talked about, but they're also providing just resources online. So that's really what I'm presenting here today, is all these great resources that are available to you to click on and view at your own leisure. So there's some great JDRF, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, Fighting Stress with Healthy Habits, and NAMI, the National Alliance for Mental Illness, has a lot of great tools and resources there. And caregivers, we often, caregiving is a very, if you or your family is affected by any one of these chronic disease or illnesses, you may know the impact that it has on the caregiver. So there are lots of great information for caregivers. Alzheimer's Association is a great one. We just lost my dad to Alzheimer's, unfortunately, recently this year. And there's so many great resources and support groups out there for a caregiver as well. It's much like when you're on an airplane and they say you need to secure your own oxygen mask before you can help another. You got to take care of yourself. And oftentimes caregivers don't really take that time or think about themselves because they're so busy with the person they're taking care of. So lots of great information here. If you know anyone who would benefit from these resources, they're all actively linked. Our charities also provide financial assistance, much like Elise talked about the services that are provided by City of Hope that are all covered at no cost. The one picture here is of Angel Flight West, which is located in Los Angeles, and they are a team of volunteer pilots who offer their own planes in their own time and will offer a trip to someone who maybe needs services at City of Hope, and they'll come and pick them up. So every nonprofit, we're all really working together as a great collective to provide services. And there's St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Every child and every parent and every family that attends that hospital and or needs to any kind of financial care that they need, everything at St. Jude is covered at no cost to the patients as well. There are some great resources for parents. I went a little nuts with these links because there were so many of them, and I'm a parent and I found them very interesting. This is where I'm like, oh, you don't necessarily have to have a child that's affected by autism or diabetes or anything, or maybe you do and you want to find information there. The Painted Turtle is a really great camp located in Los Angeles where kids with severe medical conditions can attend the camp and get round the clock care for their condition and still be able to just have fun. They don't have to worry about their disease or their condition or their issue for that week. They just get to go and have fun with kids who have the same thing. So I really encourage you to check that out if you have any children that are affected by this. There's also just toolkits on here talking about kids and smoking talking about smoking with your children, and lots of great resources for parents. And last, there are some camps too. I just talked about the Painted Turtle. These 3 photos here are of the Painted Turtle camp. And there's several camps for burn victims, for diabetes, kids with diabetes, muscular dystrophy. And there's a Serious Fun Network, that last link, where it's a global, actually nationwide and global. So if you know someone in other areas of the country or of the world, there are camps nearby for them too. Finally, the other donation opportunities, we find that you may want to give through the Give to LA campaign. You may want to give through payroll. It's a very convenient and affordable way, but you may have other ways that you want to donate. Be the Match actually has opportunities for you to be able to donate bone marrow and or cord blood for pregnant women, which is very interesting. There are links here that you can go straight to those websites to see. The last thing and the picture that's here is Operation Christmas Child. Samaritan's Purse is a new nonprofit that's joined us this year. And we did this one last year, and I just think it's so great. I encourage you to go to their website if you want to create a little shoebox for a child in another country. They have a list of requirements. You can't provide, you can't send anything liquid, and there's certain things you want to look out for, what you include. So follow the list on there, but you can choose a child, a gender, an age, and you can create a box just for them. Put a handmade note in there. I've read and heard that that's what the kids just love. They'll just tear all the stuff out, all the wow items, and they'll just go straight to that handmade card. So my kids and I are doing that again this year. So I encourage you to donate in whatever works for you. These are just some more opportunities that are linked here for you. And that's it. That about wraps us up. I'm a couple minutes over, and I apologize for that, but I thank you all for listening today. And we'll provide these resources available to you in a PDF after this. And please feel free to visit give2la.org if you want to donate. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you.
And Christy, that was fabulous, if I may add. And for our colleagues who joined us today, I do want to let you know that any of us are available for presentations. And so we know that sometimes the lunch hour doesn't work for everyone, but if you are interested in getting any of us, to join your team, and we can do the same presentation. So that's with all of the lunch and learns that are there on the calendar. Feel free to invite any of us to come out. Just know that, we will take the full half hour, right, Christy? And then some, but just know we are delighted to join you and further have that dialogue with you. So.
Yeah, so thank you for being here today, for listening in. If you have anything you'd like to say, we're here for you. Otherwise, have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Martha and Rachel, for joining us.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We
I appreciate
made it through.
Did you
And
stop the
Christy, you were
recording?
fabulous. I
Thank you.
loved
Harry,
everything that
can
you
you
were
stop the
talking about.
recording? Sorry, can you stop the recording?